What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So if you are new here, I highly encourage that you go back, look at some of the previous videos so you know who I am and what it is this channel is about. And when you're done doing that, I highly encourage that you like, share, and subscribe anything you see on the page to keep yourself informed of any future updates and to get the word out that, you know, I am producing content for the Q series. If you're a returning viewer, you know what's about to happen today. And that is, we're going to continue working on the aftermarket front bumper for the Q50. So, today, we're going to be cutting off the license plate box, filling in the tow hook, and fixing any of the small imperfections that I can with fiberglass chop mat. Before we jump into it, let me show you the basic things I'm going to be using to get this job done today. So for today's portion of the video, we got our latex gloves, vinyl gloves to protect our hands from the resin, the hardener, we got fiberglass chop mat, fiberglass cloth, and a bag full of chip brushes. Now, back here, I got my aluminum tape, and this is going to be needed to help me make sure that I have the shape of the holes, that they maintain their consistency and their rigidity while I lay the fiberglass mat down. Now that you've seen everything on this side of the table that we're going to be using in this video, go ahead and jump into it. Alright, so as I said, what we're going to do, I've outlined everything in red that either needs to be fixed and or modified / changed. I'm going to cut this out, I'm going to cut this off, and I'm going to fill in the backside of all of these little circles here, because those areas are really thin and were initially designed to be popped out for the premium front sensors, or for the sport front sensors, excuse me, to go in place. Since I don't have the front sensors, I'm going to be filling these in and making it to where these are consistent with the shape of the bumper again. So I'm going to set the camera up and I'm going to go ahead and get started. Now that we have everything cut out, it's all sanded down, smoothed out, and cleaned up, I'm going to take the aluminum tape, apply it to the outside of the areas that I'm going to be filling in, and then flip it over and start glassing the backside. I'm putting the tape down just so I don't get areas where the fiberglass mat sags in to the front of the bumper and causes additional sanding that I don't really want to deal with. First things first, I'm going to go ahead and cover this up with aluminum tape and then flip it over and finish prepping the rest. Alright, I got everything here that I need to get this started. I got 3 strips of chop mat and some strips of the smaller mat to go over here in the corner. So now that I have all of that laid out, go ahead and mix my resin and get this stuff laid down. Now that I got the glass mat laid down, I put a layer up here in the top corner and a layer in that corner. I got 2 layers of mat down in this channel. Don't worry so much about all this mat that's dangling off up here. That'll all get cut down and smoothed off when before the next layer goes on. I put a layer behind the area where the sensor location was on the other side as well. And I also put a layer and a half of mat back here behind the areas where it came through when I was sanding down. So now that that's all down, I'll let it dry and I'll come back out later today and re-engage it. All right, glass laid down smooth and even. I really like how it turned out. I'm gonna do one more layer of glass across everything that I glassed up earlier, just to make sure that the backside is good to go and solid. But go ahead and I'm gonna flip you around and show you the front side real fast. Everything laid down relatively smooth. Best achievement was right here at the tow hook cover. It had all around sealant, which was great. The license plate box delete has a couple areas where I need to refine it. There's a slight dip in the center, but I can build that up with the Bondo hair and hopefully smooth this out when I go to block sand. So next thing I'm going to do is get out the block sander and block sand all this down to a nice rough texture, so I have something for the Bondo glass to stick to. All right, guys, so off camera, I added the other layer of fiberglass that I was talking about earlier. I had to go with the cloth this time because I ran out of mat. So I gotta go buy some more mat. That's gonna be next on the list to do today. There is the layer of cloth. I got another layer down up there. Another layer on that one right there. And on that inside right there. And then what I also started doing, I didn't really like how thin this bracket ended up being, so I marked it off and I'm slowly building the bracket back together with itself, so that way I have a solid tab there instead of a broken portion of the tab that was here originally. So once that's dry, I'll cut it down, trim it out, and then start adding additional layers on the top and bottom, and then sanding them smooth to get them to the same consistency and thickness as the side over here. But for now, I'm gonna let this dry, and I'll come back to it once I get the rest of the materials again. Another day back at it with the bumper. I'm gonna bust out the fiberglass resin and the chop mat that I bought and continue fixing some of these small areas that need some additional remedy. This tab, for example, being one, and a couple more reinforcement layers on the back of these areas that were sanded through during the fitting and trimming process. So I'm gonna go ahead and set you guys up and get initiated on that. All right, the last little bit of actual glass mat work I think I'm gonna do. Now that I got this tab built nice and neat, re-drilled, that's good to go. So there's 3 more things that I need to work on. 2 more things that I need to work on. The third one, it's kind of just me being me. Where that original hole was from the manufacturer, I ground that down on both sides to a real thin layer. I'm gonna build that up and smooth that back out so it's a official tab again and not half-assed. Down here, I drilled this out, moved the riv nut over, ground all this down. I'm gonna go ahead and build up the front and back on this side to keep this riv nut in place. So that's reset for the turn indicator. And the last thing, this side of the headlight housing was still rubbing the headlight, but I couldn't sand anymore because I was getting kind of thin. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take layers of glass and run underneath on the back side here to build this back lip up, so that way I can sand down more from the front and actually get this clearance that I want to match the rest of the headlight. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock these out, and then should be able to start doing the filling at that point. So let's get it. All right, so my first round of repairs are done. I shouldn't have to bust out any more fiberglass mat for the duration of this. If I do, you won't see it on camera. But what I did do, I made the corrections to the areas that cut through under this bumper on this side. So those are healed up. I added the mat underneath here and then sanded this down the rest of the way. So this should clear the headlight now. I finished building the tab on the driver and passenger sides. So those are good. The area that went through during the sanding on the passenger side has been filled in from the back. It's solid. The cut area where I cut through at the top on accident has been smoothed out on back and front and is now clear in one piece again. So that's a bonus. And the last thing is those front 2 ports are now fiberglassed up nice and smooth. They'll get finished now with the second round of prep, which is going to be the Bondo hair, sanding that down, the halftime body filler, sanding that down, and then finish it off with glazing putty. And hopefully all this stuff will come out nice and smooth. So that's all I got for now. As I said in the beginning of the video, if you enjoyed the content, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. So that way you can be notified of any future videos that are uploaded. And I will see you on the next one. Later.